It always starts the same way. One bottle, one fragrance that you bought because it smelled nice. You thought, this is it. I'm done. I smell good now. And for a brief moment, you were happy and you were satisfied. You were complete. That moment doesn't last because once you start looking into fragrance communities, once you start watching YouTube videos, once you discover that there's an entire world beyond that one bottle, something changes. You change. And before you know, you're 5 levels deep, surrounded by bottles you never wear, chasing a satisfaction that seems to always be just one more purchase away. This is the fragrance collecting journey. 7 levels, 7 stages of transformation from innocent beginner to complete obsession. And the worst part, it's completely predictable. Every collector follows the same path, including me. Let me show you exactly what happens. This is where everyone starts. You bought your first real fragrance. Not Axe body spray, not some gift set from Christmas, but an actual bottle that you choose because you liked how it smelled. Maybe it's Bleu de Chanel, maybe it's Aqua di Gio, maybe it's whatever was on sale at Sephora. It doesn't matter what it is. What matters is this moment, right now, when you first spray it and think, I smell good. This is the last time you'll experience pure, uncomplicated satisfaction with a fragrance purchase. This is the last time you'll buy something just because you like it, without second guessing, without comparing, without wondering if there's something better. Enjoy this moment, because it's about to end. You wear your fragrance, people compliment you, you feel confident, you think, this is great, I've figured it out, I'll smell good now, I'm done. And you're done for a little while, maybe a few weeks, maybe a few months. You're satisfied with your one bottle, living your life, completely unaware of what's coming. But then curiosity strikes. You start wondering, what else is out there? Are there other fragrances like this? What do other people wear? What are the best fragrances? And that's when you make the fatal mistake. You Google it, you find Reddit, you find YouTube, you find fragrance communities, and everything changes. Welcome to information overload. You've discovered that fragrance isn't just something you spray. It's a hobby, a community, a whole world with its own language, its own rules, its own hierarchies. Suddenly, you're learning terms you've never heard before. Top notes, middle notes, base notes, longevity, projection, sludge. You're watching videos about the best summer fragrances and top 10 date night scents. You're reading forum posts arguing about whether Sauvage is overrated or whether Aventus is worth the price. And here's where it gets dangerous. You start looking up reviews of that fragrance you bought, the one you were perfectly happy with, and you discover that people on the internet don't like it. Then say it's generic. They say the longevity is weak. They say the reformulation ruined it. They say it's for teenagers. Now you're confused. Wait, I liked this fragrance, but these people who seem to know what they're talking about say it's bad. Am I wrong? Do I have bad taste? What am I missing? This is when the seed of doubt gets planted. You start questioning your own preferences. You start wondering if you should buy something better, and then influencers start telling you that you don't just need one fragrance. You need multiple. You need a daily driver, you need a summer scent, you need a winter scent, you need a date night fragrance, you need a formal fragrance, you need a gym fragrance, and you think, okay, that makes sense. I should build a collection. I should have options. And just like that, you're moving to the next level. This is when you start actually building a collection. You're no longer satisfied with one bottle. You need variety, you need options, you need the essentials that everyone talks about. So you start buying the classics, the safe blind buys, the crowd pleasers. You get Sauvage because everyone says it's amazing. You get 1 million because it's supposed to get compliments. You get Bleu de Chanel if you don't already have it. You get Eros because it's a panty dropper. You get La Nuit d'Homme because it's sophisticated. Your collection grows to 5 bottles, then 10, then 15. You're consistently finding something new that you need. You're watching haul videos and thinking, I should get that too. You're browsing fragrance website during work. You're going to department stores just to smell things. And here's the thing, you're happy. Kind of. You're excited about your collection. You're excited to try new things. You feel like you're really getting into this hobby. You feel like you're becoming a fragrance person. But slowly, quietly, something else starts to happen. You start noticing that a lot of these fragrances smell similar. You start realizing that Sauvage and Bleu de Chanel and Y by Yves Saint Laurent all kind of occupy the same space. You start wondering why you need 3 blue bottles that all smell like fresh woody ambroxan. You start rotating through your collection and realizing that you always reach for the some 2 or 3 bottles. The other 12 just sit there, slowly oxidizing, barely touched. You've used maybe 3 sprays from each one, but you keep buying because surely the next one will be different. Surely the next one will be special. And then you discover something that changes everything. You discover that there is a whole category beyond designer fragrances. You discover niche. This is where it stops being a hobby and starts being an obsession. Your collection has crossed 25 bottles, maybe 30, maybe 40. You've lost count. You have fragrances you've never even worn outside. You have bottles you've sprayed twice. You have samples stacked in drawers that you haven't gotten around to testing. You can't walk into a fragrance store anymore without buying something. You can't scroll through Reddit without adding 3 more fragrances to your wish list. You're constantly hunting for deals, checking discount sites, browsing eBay for discontinued bottles. Your friends don't ask you for fragrance advice anymore because you can't even pronounce the names of what you're wearing. And when you do manage to communicate the name, they forget it in 5 seconds anyway, because nobody normal has heard of Serioff or Parfum de Marly or Maison Francis. You can't receive cologne as a gift anymore. You already own everything under $200. And the things you don't own are $500 bottles that nobody's going to buy you. You've bought yourself to financial ruin over liquid in glass bottle. But here's the thing, you're not happy. You thought collecting would make you happy, but the more you collect, the less satisfied you feel. Nothing impresses you anymore. Nothing feels special. Every new bottle is just another bottle. You start chasing the feeling you had with your first fragrance, that pure, uncomplicated joy. But you can't find it because you've trained yourself out of it. You've learned too much. You've smelled too much. You've analyzed too much. You can't just enjoy a fragrance anymore. You have to dissect it, compare it, rate it, review it. You're starting to realize that nobody cares about your fragrances as much as you do. Your girlfriend can't tell the difference between your $400 niche and your $80 designer. Your coworkers don't notice when you switch fragrances. Your friends think you're weird for spending this much on cologne. You're in too deep to stop. You've invested too much money. You've invested too much time. You've built an identity around this. So you keep going. You keep searching. You keep buying. And that's when you discover the final frontier. This is where you've officially lost your mind. You've smelled everything mainstream. You've smelled all the popular niche. You've smelled the underground niche. Now you're hunting for ultra niche, the weird stuff, the experimental stuff, the stuff that makes normal people physically recoil. You're reading about fragrances with notes like gunpowder, blood, petrol, metal, earth, leather from a specific tannery in France. You're buying samples from houses you can't pronounce with bottles that look like cursed objects from horror movies. You're on fragrance forums at 3 a.m. discussing whether the Osmanthus in Serge Lutton 5 o'clock Eau Jambreux is more prominent than in a Hermes Osmante Yunnan. You're tracking down discontinued fragrance on eBay. You're joining Facebook groups dedicated to specific perfume houses. You're following perfumers on Instagram. You've entered the realm where fragrances smell like whiskey, credit cards, money, holy water. Where someone creates a fragrance specifically to smell like a library or thunderstorm or their grandmother's attic. where avant-garde houses make fragrances deliberately challenging, deliberately weird, deliberately unwearable. And the insane part, you're starting to appreciate them. You've gone so deep that you can smell a fragrance with notes of tobacco, wood, incense, and gasoline. And you think, interesting composition, very artistic. Meanwhile, normal people are asking if you're okay and why you smell like a haunted mechanic's garage. Your collection has topped 50 bottles, maybe 75. You don't even know anymore. You have fragrances organized by season, by occasion, by perfumer, by house. You have a spreadsheet. You have a fragrance journal. You have more samples than some boutiques carry. And somewhere in this chaos, you start to have a realization, creep in, uncomfortable realization that you've been trying to avoid. You start to wonder if maybe, just maybe, you've gone too far. This is the final level, the end of the journey. And here's the twist. You end up right back where you started. After all the niche, after all the ultra niche, after all the experimentation and exploration and obsession, you start reaching for your old designer fragrances again. The bottle of Bleu de Chanel you bought in level 3, it smells good, really good, simple, clean, reliable. That Aqua di Gio you dismissed as basic or for normies, it's actually really nice on a summer day. Easy, fresh, inoffensive. Exactly what you need. You start to realize something profound. Designer fragrances are popular for a reason. They're mass appealing because they smell good to most people. They're focus group and refined and tested because the goal is to create something broadly pleasant. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. You look at your collection of 50, 60, 75 bottles. You look at how much money you've spent. You look at all the bottles you've sprayed twice and never touched again. And you realize that you were happiest at the beginning when you had one bottle that you loved and wore every day without overthinking it. You realize that chasing the one was pointless because there's no one. You realize that having 75 bottles doesn't make you happier than having 5. You realize that nobody cares what you're wearing as much as you thought they would. You realize that fragrance is supposed to be enjoyable, but stressful. You start simplifying, you start selling bottles, you start giving away samples. You narrow your collection down to 10 bottles, then 7, then 5. You keep the ones you actually wear. You let go of the ones you bought because of hype or because they were expensive or because you thought you should like them. And you find peace, not in having the most exclusive fragrances or the biggest collection or the deepest knowledge, but in wearing what you actually like, in enjoying fragrances for what they are, pleasant smells that make you feel good. You've completed the journey, you've gone full circle, and you've learned the most important lesson. Less is more, and the best fragrance is the one you actually wear. So where are you in this journey? And more importantly, should you be worried? The fragrance rabbit hole is real. It's expensive. It's all-consuming. And it ends with regret more often than satisfaction. The best collection isn't the biggest or most expensive or most exclusive. It's the one you actually use and enjoy. Don't chase the one. Don't fall for hype. Don't buy things because they are expensive or exclusive. You should buy what you actually like. Wear what makes you happy. And remember that nobody cares about your fragrance as much as you think they do. Use what you have before buying more. Empty bottles instead of collecting them. Find satisfaction in what you own rather than always chasing the next. Because at the end of the day, fragrance is supposed to make you happy. If collecting is making you stressed, anxious, or broke, you've missed the point entirely. I learned this the hard way. You don't have to. Catch you in the next one. Subscribe if you want to learn how to enjoy fragrance without losing your mind. Peace.